And welcome to Rotisserie Chicken Podcast. As always, I'm joined by the silliest of chickens, Anna the Cluck Lecky. As always, I am your Cluck Master, Jacob Worthington. And you may be able to guess what our topic is on today. Something very dear to my heart. Corporate tax law. Bees keeping corporate tax law. That's what we're doing it on. Beekeeping. No, today we are doing a topic on clowns.
That's right.
Anna, how do you feel about clowns?
Well, I can't really breathe through my nose. Let me take this little nose off. So I don't quite like them, and really it's not even a fear thing, it's a general annoyance. No disrespect to those who like to do clown stuff, but ever since I was a kid I did not like them messing with me, coming in my space, trying to make me feel emotions, trying to make me laugh. It just always irritated me. Yeah, that's how I feel.
I think the fear of clowns is coulrophobia. Coulrophobia? We put the cool in coulrophobia. That's what we do here. But not specifically just clowns. What we are doing today is the Great Clown Panic of 2016.
Just think about those words together all in a sentence like that.
I am wearing my Killer Clowns from Outer Space t-shirt to mark the day.
I'm wearing just my normal filming shirt, which is clown enough.
Goofy blue, that's what we call it.
Goofy, silly blue.
So you remember the Great Clown Panic of 2016?
I do, like it was yesterday.
It was a weird phenomenon for those who don't remember. And let's just go ahead and jump in. I've done a decent amount of research.
Right before you jump in, I just want to say what I keep hitting this, I'm sorry. What I remember...
Don't squish my nose.
What I remember the most about it is I just remember myself reacting and saying, why do these clowns keep coming out of the woods for no reason?
That's where we're made. We're made in the woods.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have because this is a moment in history that we all need to know about.
Okay, well, let's get into it. So it all started initially, some suspect, around early August.
Of 2015?
Of 2016.
Oh.
Yeah, it was about midway. And so a clown, a kind of spooky clown, started popping up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And so the clown was seen with black balloons and was caught on like several security cameras. And it kind of like started going like viral on the internet of like what's going on in Green Bay with this clown.
Did you look up images of the clown?
I mean, we could look up images.
Well, my question
I've seen them before. I didn't look them up. I saw them when it happened.
What I'm imagining is Terrifier level clown, but Terrifier didn't exist in 2016.
He is spooky looking. He was off-putting. It wasn't like a regular clown.
Hence the panic.
So I also kind of labeled this stuff by like the timeline to kind of see how quickly everything started sort of moving on this. But the next reports came from South Carolina, and this is an article that was just titled "Creepy Clown Sightings Reported in More Communities in South Carolina, September 3rd." So this goes on to say one clown showed up on a roadside in a rain poncho. Another was saw waving money at children near the woods. Over the past 2 weeks, residents have told authorities that they have spotted clowns or people who looked like clowns on at least 8 occasions. I feel like the people
in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Like, are we talking Charleston?
Greenville area.
Greenville.
Which I take a bit of offense of the comment of people who look like clowns. Because you're just saying there's like goofy redheaded big-nosed people on the edge of your town and you're like, those clowns are at it again.
I would think that they mean people who are dressed like legitimate clowns.
Well, then, I mean, I guess you could say that they're, but I mean, I don't know why would you say, or people who look like clowns? Like, that's a weird, if you look like a clown, you're a clown. Like, there's no one accidentally looks this goofy.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's subjective.
One parent said, I will usually let my son play in the backyard where I can see him from the kitchen, but now I won't let him go outside the house without me, said Jessie Owen, 29-year-old Greenville mother of two. She also said, all it would take is 1 second, one promise of candy, and he would be gone. Which I was like, your kid should be better equipped than one promise of candy.
No faith in her child.
She's like, he's not a good kid. He would easily go. He's not a smart one.
Yeah.
He would go right into the van with the clown and candy.
This kid's got an IQ of 80. He's going to be gone.
Greenville police warned that South Carolina law prohibits anyone over the age of 18 from dressing up as a clown.
South Carolina, so you're not allowed to dress like a clown over the age of 18?
That's what the news article said.
Did you know that when we lived in South Carolina?
I dressed up like a clown on multiple occasions.
I didn't like, but that makes it even worse that you were breaking the law.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
I gotta tell my friends this that knew I was actively complaining about you dressing up like a scary clown, that not only was I vindicated, but you were actually committing a crime.
Police Chief Miller said a city ordinance related to molesting or disturbing the public could also lead to prosecution of the clowns taken into custody.
I feel like they really need to get that verbiage straightened out, because can you imagine if you have a charge on your record that says molesting the public when all you did was bother the public?
It says molesting or disturbing the public, and you're like, I was just disturbing. You
don't want that to be ambiguous.
Not at all. Anyway.
We digress.
Next. October 6th. See, now we're 2 months out from the initial sighting. Man near Garden of the Gods attacked by assailant in clown mask. This is Colorado Springs.
Okay.
This man goes on to say what he remembered happened was someone wearing a clown mask near Garden of the Gods Wednesday night. He said he suffered a deep cut to his head.
No.
He said they jumped out holding quart-sized whiskey bottles and told my wife to run. I knew something bad was going to happen. Yeah, buddy. A clown jumps out of the bushes and tells your wife to run. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to know.
Okay. I don't think I'd run.
You think you would stand up to him?
I think I'd have to fight for you.
Yeah. I would let you run.
I know, but I think I'd be like, I'm not going anywhere. You will not hurt Jacob.
But you're terrified of clowns.
I'm not afraid of them. They get on my nerves. They make me aggressively violent. So even worst case scenario for that clown.
That's our intended desire. That's what we see.
Okay, it's the same mentality. You know when you have a dog that's kind of aggressive and a stranger comes to your house and the dog barks, gets all riled up. Mm-hmm. It's not that the dog doesn't like people. It's just that the dog gets riled up at the sight of something.
He's getting worked up. You get worked up.
I get worked up at a clown.
So Stevens and his wife were walking on a bike path before 8 p.m. Wednesday when he was attacked by what the police say were two homeless men living in a tent nearby. Johnson told the police that he saw two people walking towards him, and he ended up shouting at them, "Who's in the mask?" Which I feel like, what did he think he was going to get back? Like, it's me, Frank. Like he was going to know.
A full name and a social security number.
It's David Miller, your buddy. Like, he's wearing a mask, my guy. I think he's going to keep it a little on the secret. When neither replied, Steven started punching them. So this is what the homeless people said that when no one replied, he started punching the dude in the mask.
The cop did.
No, the guy who got attacked. The homeless people were like, we didn't attack this guy. He attacked us because we were wearing a clown mask. So the report initially says that this man was attacked by clowns. But then, under investigation, the people dressed as clowns, who were homeless people, apparently said that this guy just started swinging on them when they approached him dressed as clowns. Sounds like clown hate to me.
So it became a he said, she said. Mm-hmm. Well, who was the most physically hurt? The other guy?
I think Stevens. I think the regular guy. Yeah, so.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. I just don't know why these people would just randomly. It makes more sense to me.
Did he get mugged, or was it just
he said that
assault?
they took his jacket, but then the police report says that there were no stolen property. I think this guy started swinging on clowns because he got spooked, and then tried to say that they attacked him.
That's what happens with me, and I feel really bad.
So the article ends with saying the incident comes as creepy clown sightings have been reported across the nation, some involving assaults. Many schools have closed amid threats of clowns carrying out violence there. A phenomenon made its way to Colorado Springs this week.
Wow, schools closed.
Schools were shut down under threat of clowns.
I didn't even realize that. Why is it that Colorado seems like they have so much crazy stuff going on?
October 13th, mysterious clowns terrorizing California city.
On the worst day ever.
So I looked, it was Thursday the 13th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, dude, if this was Friday the 13th and clowns are shut down schools. But apparently there had been 20 sightings in a week, but only one clown has landed in handcuffs, which was a 14-year-old suspect who wasn't armed, told the police he was participating in the hoax he had seen online. So I feel like a lot of people are getting their clown out. They see clown, they do clown.
You think they all started a group chat and then organized a meetup?
Oh, we'll get into it. Other residents have reported seeing scary clowns armed with machetes or baseball bats.
Well, that's not cool. Mm-hmm. That does sound pretty illegal. I don't know. You can't just wield a machete out there, right?
I know a lot of places have laws against carrying a knife larger than like 3 inches, and I'm sure California is like, if it's not a butter knife, you can't have it.
Well, it should be a law just in case of a slip and fall, anyways.
So the police chief goes on to say that they've been receiving several phone calls about scary clowns, and they suspect that social media accounts have spurred copycats of the sighting. Mm-hmm. There was one person at Real Wasco Clown Twitter account also claims responsibility for being the scary clown. He says, "I am the creepy, evil-looking clown that is roaming the streets of Wasco, California all night. Come find me and I will give you a balloon."
Is he just trying to like pull some ladies or something? Like what's his long game here?
I don't know.
What's somebody's long game for wanting to be, I guess, reveled as a clown?
I think.
What's the advantage?
So I will say this, as one part of my clown experience is you get to act out an aspect of your personality that sometimes isn't necessarily socially acceptable. And for me, that's being like extremely goofy and silly. You know what I mean?
But that's comical. What you're like anyways.
Yeah, but you gotta have like a veneer of...
You're a pretty goofy, silly guy.
That's true. Like,
I don't know. I don't feel like you... Do you feel like you have to like tamper? Maybe at work,
I 100% have to...
I could see that.
Throttle back almost everywhere I am.
Everywhere?
Everywhere.
Even stand-up comedy?
Yeah. Yeah, because stand-up comedy is like it's controlled, it's measured, it's scripted. Sometimes I go a little bit loose. This was not just in the U.S. It went global.
Global clown. Where were they finding each other? On the dark web?
I'm guessing. Killer clown craze hits Perth as masked man bursts from trees to terrify walker. This is also October 13th.
Okay.
So, and this is Perth, Scotland. Not Perth, Ireland.
Or Australia.
He said, there is no indication that the killer clown spotted in Perth was armed or made any threats of violence. An individual calling themselves Fintry Killer Clown has been captured on camera chasing a car through the streets of Dundee. I don't even know what a Fintry is. I feel like most clowns have like, their names are like Skittles or bananas or something like that.
Fintry is probably some weird trinkety name in Scotland.
Let's find out what Fintry means real quick. This is Mariah. Can you? Oh, I didn't mean to.
Right.
Mariah, get it together.
Get your ass
please.
in here. God, what do you pay her for?
Fairyland. It's Old Gaelic for fairyland or happy valley. All right. I mean, I guess that kind of makes clown sense. And if I was from Scotland,
that's honestly not a super scary or threatening name.
my clown.
I'm Happy Clown from Happy Valley. I guess maybe it could be ironically scary.
Turns out it was Evil Clown.
It was Larry. For any of you who watch those videos who know what that is.
Larry. The man in the freaky mask with a shock of red hair and full costume has even created a Facebook page to triumph their weird antics. So I guess the superintendent for the police of Scotland said, "We have had a few sporadic reports of individuals dressed as clowns in some areas in Scotland." So I guess it was confirmed. They out there.
All right. I'm trying to piece it all together. So it just seems like right now is it that it seems like random events not correlated with each other, but it's just clowns terrorizing certain people.
I don't necessarily think it's coordinated. I think what it is, it's just one of those things. It's like when we covered the dancing plague. It's just some people see it and then they get the bug. So
it was something about just the energy of 2016 that was making people want to be clowns and terrorize people.
I guess.
Because you can, I guess, contrary to popular belief, you can be a clown and not really terrorize anyone.
I think people were drawn to like the creeping folks out aspect. So here's an article that goes on to say Russian embassy warns citizens about British clowns while locked in Syria standoff with Boris Johnson.
That went all the way to the top.
That went all the way to the top. So the Russian embassy has taken a surreal break from its growing standoff with Boris Johnson over Syria to warn about British clowns. So a lot of people speculated that this was just an attempt to kind of undercut what they were doing in Syria, but that's a weird strategy.
Yeah.
They were like bombing random people in Syria, and they were like, how about we just tell them they got clowns that we need to worry about?
That's so strange.
They put out on their Twitter, they say, we ask citizens in the UK to take note of this information.
What are you supposed to do with that information?
Be on the lookout for clowns.
I mean, I feel like they're hard to miss. You know? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they are hard to miss. You're not wrong. They are big targets. But here's one. October 13th again. And this is from the Fiji Sun. So this has made it all the way to Fiji.
Okay.
It said police have warned people against getting involved in the killer clown craze that has gone viral overseas. Personally, I take offense to it saying killer clown because none of these clowns have killed anybody yet.
Are they trying to, though?
I don't know. Maybe that one. People dressed as clowns have been videotaped scaring children as pranks. One police have warned people against getting involved in the killer clown craze as it has gone viral overseas. Pages have popped up on Facebook claiming that the clowns are now in Fiji and for people to be braced for it.
The clowns got so tired of making people panic that they needed a vacation. So they went to Fiji.
Maybe they were like, we're on break, we're on holiday.
They needed some R&R to just kind of...
They're just on holiday.
I'm sure they're all vitamin D deficient.
I will say this, all the articles they always like to do stuff like this where it says the Fiji police force are not seeing the funny side of such attempts. And like every article had like, this is no laughing matter. And like, these clowns are no joke.
That's just good journalism, Jacob.
I guess. It's not, it's like, they're like pun-esque.
Puns. Yes, they are, aren't they?
So, the hysteria and the response to the hysteria. So we have the clown response. Clown pops up, August. Boom. By September, they're working their way across the country. October, they're in other parts of the world. So what's the response? Well,
spreading like a virus.
Creepy clown sightings spark hysteria. Hunts on college. Hundreds of Penn State students held a clown hunt in October after alleged sighting creating a scene reminiscent of Frankenstein or the 19th century, minus the torches and pitchforks.
Is Penn State the Ivy League?
I think so.
There's a Penn Ivy League. I just don't know if it's Penn State.
I don't know. Could be. But these people took to the streets.
So
apparently there was another one in Georgia Southern that was sparked
I could have told you that.
By a picture of a clown on campus, but it turned out the picture was from like 2013.
Have you ever been drunk down in Georgia Southern? Because there's gotta be a clown down there. It's a wild time.
We're out there. We're walking amongst
It's a wild time for sure.
That same week, a digitally altered photo of a clown began circulating at Michigan State University, spurring students to launch a clown hunt of their own.
Wow.
So clown hunts were popping up on college campuses. I don't know if they were half in jest, but, you know.
Good words there.
Thank you.
Voodoo.
Anyway,
I wish we had a tiny little drum set.
But I don't know how serious these clown hunts were. I mean, we've done a lot of silly stuff on college campuses.
Well, if they were serious, how many were strung up?
I mean, we're elusive. We're elusive
That's
creatures.
what I'm saying. If there weren't any clowns strung up, I don't think the hunts were super serious.
Well, I also think this is something to bring up. I think a lot of the clown sightings were like imagined. I think a lot of people weren't really seeing clowns. Either they were making it up to like join in on the fun, or like one was a picture from one. Says that one was an altered photograph of a clown that spurred chaos, and then another one was an old picture from like several years before of a clown on campus. So I think a lot of people not only were giving into the hoax by being clowns, but I think some people were giving into the hoax by pretending like they were seeing them.
I mean, that's totally possible. I think it's more the former of people thought it was funny to dress up like a clown and freak people out.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's some people are doing it just for fun and adding to it. And then I think some people were either missing what they were seeing, or they were actively just making stuff up just to add to the chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
So, Missouri State University, hold on, let's try that again. Missouri State University, for example, took to Twitter to snuff out any student concerns. They said, let's address today's topic du jour. No clowns were seen on campus last night, per campus safety.
That's a good day.
But this is one of my favorite. When asked on Twitter to respond to reports of alleged sightings, police in Lawrence, Kansas had to remind people with a simple tweet that said, being a clown isn't illegal. And then behind it, they had, you know how you can like use like exclamation points and stuff like that to make a figurine? They made the one where it was just like shoulder shrugging.
Well, I mean, that's true. It's not illegal to be a clown.
Unless you're in South Carolina.
Oh, right. What? South Carolina's so weird.
They were like, if you're over 18, you better not dress up like a clown.
There's a lot of shit that's illegal in South Carolina that doesn't make any sense.
So, my people are oppressed. My culture is not a cost.
Guess not.
So, Chris Crandall, a professor of social psychology at the University of Kansas, calls the rise in clown sightings, both fake and real, a social contagion.
Yeah.
He says, quote, if there's something that people might want to do, but it gets suppressed because it's weird or inappropriate or socially unacceptable, as soon as somebody else starts doing it, it tends to spread out. What's probably going on with copycats is they like to get a rise out of people.
That's what I was thinking, is that as soon as somebody does something and then media catches fire and it goes viral, I think people see it as a really big opportunity to jump on that media train and also go viral.
Do you think, hold on, when was the Tide Pod stuff? Because I have like a feeling.
I think it was like around the same time.
When did
I ate a Tide Pod yesterday?
Sorry. Like, this was December 2017. So eating the Tide Pod meme was like a year later. But I do remember.
But it was probably the same group of people. You know what I mean? Like the same demographic.
oh yeah. I definitely
was like,
think...
I'm gonna go dress like a clown and hang out in the woods to freak people out.
Do you think somebody was like, hey, we're not doing that anymore. What we're doing is eating Tide Pods. And he was like, good news, I've got a pocket full of them for some reason. No.
You really want those likes, Jimmy? You need to eat a couple handfuls of these freaking here. What is it, like long-lasting fragrance pods or
Sea Breeze. Nothing hits better than that Sea Breeze Tide Pod.
What's this scent? It's like Glade. What am I thinking about? Gain? The like Gain scent?
There's a bunch, babe. This is a detergent company. They literally have like 40.
Let me just take 5 minutes and name detergent companies.
What was I gonna say? There was like also a little craze, I think, before Tide Pods. Remember when people were like going in and like licking things? They were like going into the grocery store and they were like opening the ice cream and like licking the top of the ice cream.
Those people deserve to die.
There was one lady.
I'm sorry, but they do.
One person did go to the hospital. They like licked something they weren't supposed to and immediately like was in the ICU for like 3 weeks.
Good. That's natural selection.
Bring it back. So, you may ask yourself, what pushes somebody to these points? You know, what pushes somebody to clown up?
Every day.
Clown up. Well, here's an article from BBC News.
Let's hear it.
Called "Why I Am a Killer Clown." So the article interviews a man named Matteo Moroni, 29 years old, from Perugia, Italy, who is the owner of a YouTube channel called DM Pranks. And I guess he does a bunch of these like video recorded pranks of him like dressing up and going out. Mm-hmm. And he would do them in like car parks, secluded subway paths, stuff like that. And it says he would dress up as murderous twins to zombies or aliens, but claims clowns are the most effective, which is rude.
Effective to disturb people.
Yeah, I guess he got the best responses as a creepy clown versus a zombie or an alien or a murderer. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like one of those things, it's like if you were like walking down a forked path and like on one path you saw like a clown and then the other path you saw like murderers, aliens, and zombies, you're like, I'm definitely not going down this path.
I just feel like the clown's synonymous with all of those things.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
But I mean, I guess in that situation, it'd be like a 3 against 1. Like, I could probably defeat and overpower one clown. I don't know about the aliens and murders, so that's my logic.
Well, he goes on to say it's the most scary and creepy thing you can meet at night. I don't think that's true. Mm-mm. I don't think that's true.
You can meet a lot of scary stuff at night.
So he had been doing this for like, I think a year prior. And he had a video in 2015 of him doing creepy clown stuff in Las Vegas that got 1.7 billion views.
What?
In 6 months while posted on Facebook.
God.
So people are here for the content. So even if you're not dressing up like a clown or hunting clowns or posting, we're still clicking these creepy clown videos.
That's what I'm saying. Is there something... I think people saw these videos getting that much attention and were like, hey, I could go viral and then I could say, hey, it's me. And then get some kind of weird fame from it.
So he's out here spooking these people. And some people are like...
Spooking the dudes.
He said, people are saying, Matteo, this ain't right what you doing.
His girlfriend's breaking up with him.
Don't you find it kind of cruel?
He gets fired from his job.
He goes on to say, taxes are cruel. I think that a good job, even if you're running away from a clown, never killed anybody. Everything is under my strict supervision, and I spend hours preparing the prank scene to avoid anything going wrong.
So is that what he's saying? He takes the utmost security measures.
He's saying that everything's locked down, very professional. He says all you're getting is a little cardio. What's the harm? What's the harm in that?
Well, what if you're old and you don't have a good heart?
I mean, there are pranks where people prank people and that stuff goes wrong.
You know what I've always wanted to do to somebody? somebody scare pranks me, and then I scare prank them and pretend like I have a medical emergency, and I just like start flopping all over the ground and seizing.
I'm sure they've done that on Punk'd.
And then they freak out at me, and they start flopping down and seizing because they like, oh my god, what do I do? And then I see them, but then I actually get really scared and start flopping.
So you guys are like in a little heart attack tussle.
It's just like a fear seizure spiral.
So Mateo says he does the utmost to make sure nothing goes wrong. Unfortunately.
I don't believe Mateo.
Unfortunately.
One bit. God.
Mateo did say that one couple who fell victim to his prank phoned the police, and before he could tell them or finish chasing them that it was a prank, 27 police officers in 9 cars and 2 vans were already on their way and then showed up to the scene.
27?
Because in their eyes, because in this prank, he, as a clown, murders somebody. I think he like bashes their head in and then chases these people.
That makes sense.
And then they called the cops.
Yes,
which is
as
a
you
reason.
should.
Yeah.
That's a very healthy response to that.
And then he was like, I try my best. I don't think he talks like that, but he, I try my best. I don't know what that is.
He's Italian.
He is. Well, he's from Italy. It says he's from Italy. So
I try my best.
But he's not like a New Jersey Italian, so that's like a completely different.
Whatever.
You come to me on this the day of my clown prank. So he says that he does put in a little message that says, "Don't try this at home," but acknowledges that it's basically useless.
Okay. I don't plan on trying it at home, I guess. So we're squared away.
I mean, he's not for like the crazy clown stuff. He dogs it out. He says that he doesn't like people jumping on the bandwagon.
So the crazy clown guy isn't for the crazy clown stuff?
Well, he's saying that he does it with a purpose and intent of creating content in a very controlled setting, and the people that it happens to, they eventually know that it's just a prank. These other people, it seems much more menacing, and you never know what's really going on.
Listen, Mateo needs to get his own head out his own clown butt, because I'm not buying that for 1 minute.
But people are, getting hurt, apparently. So this is another article that says, I'm going to butcher this name, Waikato clown attacks, no laughing matter. And in the early hours of Sunday morning, 2 attackers dressed as clowns assaulted a woman walking home in Hamilton. Cool. The 22-year-old woman suffered moderate injuries while walking home along Memorial Drive. The police investigative team are still waiting for forensic evidence. Well, though this is like 10 years ago. The article goes on to say it comes after clown sighting outbreaks in US, UK, and Australia. Kelly said Zippo Circus recently announced that they were pulling all clown acts from their UK shows due to the scary clown sightings affecting ticket sales.
That's not cool to actually go out and hurt somebody.
It's not cool to go out and hurt somebody, but also you're starting to see this is damaging legitimate clowns. Clowns out here just trying to make people giggle.
Yeah, there's always got to be somebody that ruins it for everybody.
They're losing their jobs. I know you would like to see the clown profession outlawed. You're pro the South Carolina law. I
am pretty open-minded, so I can check my own biases. So
your own biases.
I'm not like the ultimate authority here, so I guess to each his own for this one day.
Well, now I have that recorded. So when I try to go do clown stuff, I have you going to each your own, do your clown stuff.
Well, I can't handle what I slip into around clowns, what I become.
So this article, like I said, clowns are starting to feel the hurt. This is from the New Zealand Herald. How the creepy clown craze is killing the entertainment profession.
Wow.
The article goes on to say, laugh all you want.
Is that why Netflix has kind of sucked like the last few years?
What do you mean?
If the clown panic killed the entertainment profession,
no,
you know how like they keep making like, you know how they keep doing like remakes in Hollywood, and it's just like everything's just kind of gone downhill.
That's a dumb joke. We're gonna cut that. It goes on to say, laugh all you want, but for Hot Stuff the clown, the current craze of scaring, terrorizing the world with creepy clown costume and fake knives is no laughing matter. How do we know they're fake knives?
Yeah, Hot Stuff. How do we know they're fake?
So this is a clown named Hot Stuff, which, try better. His real name is Alan Sloggett, a professional clown for more than 30 years, who's been dressing up as a clown named Hot Stuff, or Dodo, for parties, fetties, which is an Australian word for festivals, and other functions across Melbourne, Australia. He says, clowns are part of my family. Where I'd get called to work 10 birthday parties in a single weekend. Who owns the comedy? Oh. Okay. Clowns are a part of my family. Where I get called to... Boop, 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 boop. Hot Stuff goes on to say, clowns are a part of my family. Where I'd get called to work 10 birthday parties in a single weekend. But every year, the clowns have started to die off. That's been happening for the past 20 years.
Breed them out.
You're trying to thin out the herd.
Breed them out.
He said, Hot Stuff the clown has performed for over 10,000 shows.
You think he has a bunch of bodies in his walls?
I'm just not gonna. Yes, I do think Hot Stuff has a bunch of bodies in his walls, but I'm not gonna hire a birthday clown for my kid named Hot Stuff.
Right?
Like who?
There are lines that need to be drawn.
It says he's 60.
Sounds like nobody's drawing them.
He says he's a 68-year-old man named Clown Hot Stuff.
This is on Australia?
Yeah.
Okay.
This vibes.
This is the Australia lore entirely. There's probably, he probably juggles giant tarantulas and shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is supposed to be a nightmare.
He does say that he fears for his life. He's afraid that people would attack him. He also goes on to say that he's afraid that someone might see him and pull him out of his car.
You know what this reminds me of?
Huh?
It's like when you're in a room with a bug and then your mom, when you were little and you got really freaked out and your mom goes, oh, honey, he's more afraid of you than you are him. It's like when you come across 68-year-old Hot Stuff and you're like, Jesus.
Actually, I take it back.
What is that? And then he's just like,
I'm not scared of y'all at all.
Hot Stuff's more afraid of us than we are of him.
Hot Stuff's more afraid of us than we are him. But I will say he does kind of blame movies depicting clowns as like scary bad people. But writer Stephen King apparently tweeted during all this chaos.
Oh yeah, he's got to say something.
He said, hey guys, time to cool the clown hysteria. Most of them are good, cheer up. Oh, I fucked this up.
Jacob, you didn't do your exercises today.
So, Stephen King chimes in saying, hey guys, time to cool the clown hysteria. Most of them are good, cheer up the kiddies, make people laugh. So, yeah. But this is a little too late, Stephen King. You can't literally create one of the scariest creatures of all time.
He created the clown?
It?
Stephen King created the clown?
No, he created...
Okay.
He created Pennywise. So Stephen King created the scariest portrayal of a clown. You can't 30, 40 years later be like, hey guys, let's cool it on all this scared of clown hysteria.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like the godfather of scary clowns.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
All right. This is an article, another New Zealand Herald article, that says, Clown President, we don't want to scare people. First off, I didn't know there was a clown president. And if there is, it's Donald Trump. Am I right? Ew, got him. We're topical.
He does have the whole orange skin hair thing going on.
So the World Clown Association jumped in, and they were saying, we're full of people that love children, bring smiles, and want to help people laugh and bring comic relief. Mm-hmm. The people dressing up are trying to scare people. No professional clown would ever take part in anything like that.
Yeah.
Which,
I believe that.
John Wayne Gacy was a professional clown. And he did, he was a bad dude and did bad things.
I take that back.
There are bad clowns. This is clown propaganda from the clown president. There are bad clowns. You know what I mean?
They tried to scrub John Wayne Gacy's legacy.
They tried to be like, he ain't legit.
They don't accept him as a clown.
So, this one police posted, if you feel threatened, maybe ask them to juggle or tie a balloon animal to see if they're legit.
You don't think some evil guy out there can learn how to make a giraffe out of a balloon?
Well, they might be evil clowns. Evil clowns still know how to do clown stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Also, who's like, don't, hold on, before you either entertain or attack me, tie this balloon animal so I know if I can trust you.
Take a 45-second pause. I have this balloon and I have this air pump on me randomly. Now show me the puppies.
What if he does?
And it's just like 45 minutes. Have you ever heard somebody make an animal balloon?
Yeah.
It's atrocious
animal
sounding.
Balloon.
What do you call them?
Balloon animals. But imagine
it's atrocious sounding.
Imagine if this clown's walking towards you, you're getting spooked. You say, "Hold up! How do I know if you're a real clown?" And then they tie up a balloon animal, and you're like, "Oh, thank God!" And then they stab you anyway.
They make a knife out of a balloon and stab you with it.
It makes that like noises. It's like stabbing into you. You're like, "Ah, this is funny."
You know, the only clown I've ever liked is actually Krusty the Clown.
He's the best, dude.
It's just because he's like a road hard alcoholic. So it's like, you know.
This goes on. This is in Perth, Australia now. Apparently, Facebook groups were popping up that said Perth Clown Purge began last week, telling followers, "We are coming." And so a bunch of these Clown Purge Facebook groups started popping up, which ended up, there's an article that I found was talking about Map of Killer Clown Purge 2016. I guess people were entering these forums and they were calling it there was going to be a clown purge the day before Halloween. It was going to be called Halloween Eve D-Day.
Okay, so my question about this, are the clowns conducting the purge or are the people conducting the purge on the clowns?
The clowns are conducting the purge. So I guess people were starting pages online claiming to be clowns and that they were going to clown purge, like in the movie where everybody kills everybody, the day before Halloween.
No thanks. What happened? What'd the police do?
Well, the FBI and Homeland Security put out a statement that said the public that donning clown costumes shouldn't be done this time around. This is because anyone dresses like a killer clown can get time in prison for terrorizing people. But, you know, I will say this. Halloween Eve came and Halloween Eve went and there was no clown purge. And it was almost like the
all bark, no bite, those guys.
Well, Halloween kind of took the air out of the clown stuff. You know, this all happened in like 4 months. It went from like...
It's a crazy 4 months.
August, September, October, and then Halloween kind of, it just went away.
I do remember this. Yeah, I do.
And you remember how we talked about in the beginning that the first instance was in Green Bay, August. So it goes on. It turns out that clown was a clown dubbed Gags, and that it was a part of a marketing campaign for the release of a upcoming short film that is also titled Gags.
Interesting. By
the writer, producer, and director Adam Krause.
Okay.
So this was, and what initially kicked this off was just a marketing campaign for a short film.
Well, how'd the film do?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
I would assume well.
I mean, I don't think anybody knew about it. I think the marketing campaign was so good. People thought they were more fixated on clowns coming out there and tearing the world down than looking at the short film.
Well, hopefully Adam Krause capitalized on that movement.
Maybe we could actually look it up and give like a small review.
Sure.
At the end of this.
Sure.
So how do you feel? Do you feel?
Is that it?
That's it. That's what happened.
How do I feel? I mean, I'm glad it was 9 years ago now.
Did you think that you would end up marrying a clown back in 2016 when we met? We actually met at the height of the clown panic. So.
I did not think that now, but I also don't really consider you a clown.
That's true.
I consider you a human being. That is Jacob.
So it's a lesser form of existence than a clown. But I will say, being a clown at this time was just people sending me these articles and being like, I got a lot of, is this you, bro? Articles sent to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, clowns, I don't like them shits. I feel like if
so rude.
I just feel like if you are out in the woods dressed as a clown, dude, you better be prepared to get
bonked.
sniped out.
Get sniped out.
People are insane. People will shoot your ass.
I think
they will.
I think you definitely would have cold-cocked a clown or two if they had rolled up on you.
Oh, man. Yeah. Pulled out my little shank from my pocket and just bang, bang, bang. And then I would have unmasked them at the end. I know who you actually are.
We're going to share this one story so you can get an inner look at the psyche of Anna Leckie. And then we'll close this episode here. But when you were a wee lass, a small pup, and you and your family ventured out for sustenance to one Shoney restaurant. So at Shoney's, there used to be like a costumed Shoney bear would like come up, like, the way they do it like Disney World. Yeah, and what happened when he rolled up?
Well, just for some context, Shoney's is this restaurant where it's like really cheap. It's kind of like a buffet restaurant where you have salad bars, you have pre-made dessert bars and meats and stuff like that. And so you go around with your plate and you dish up, right? So my family and I used to go there a lot because it was down the street from our house. And at this time, I was obsessed with The Lion King and particularly Mufasa. And I thought that I was Mufasa. And so my duty was to protect my family from any predators. I was the king of the pride. And so we went out to Shoney's and I was about 3. And here comes Shoney Bear coming around to our table just to check on the progress of our meal and offer, whatever, a little like entertainment for the kids. And all I see, I black out, right? I black out. All I see is this bear approaching my family quickly, right? So what do? I literally get up from my little seat and go, and like scratch into him. I go, get away from our family. I didn't say that, but I roared and I scratched into him. And he just turned around and sauntered off. And my mom was like, what did you just do? And I told her that I was protecting my family from Shoney Bear.
See, that's why I feel
she was mortified.
So I feel like if like a clown rolled up on you, the clown would have no chance, dude. Those people would
That's what
regret.
I'm saying. Listen, my eyes might shine, dead inside.
All right, y'all. We appreciate you joining us on this.
I'm just kidding.
I'm the clown. She's the killer.
I'm just kidding. I'm not dead inside, but I will take to a clown if I got to.
All right, I'll try to end this episode for the 3rd time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.